Hiking in Madeira, out in the Atlantic above the clouds. For me, this is one of the best hiking destinations in Europe. I'm Steve and hiking is my passion, whether that's Patagonia or my own doorstep. Surfing made Portugal my second home, and since my surf buddy Filipe was born on Madeira, I'm basically a regular here. With this guide, I'll show you Madeira's best hikes and how to actually do them now that every official trail needs a booked permit and the best ones are gone months in advance. No rental car needed. Plus, Filipe's quiet insider routes, where to stay and what not to miss off the trails. Let's have a look at the map. Madeira is Portuguese, but it sits far out in the Atlantic, closer to Africa than to Lisbon, and it is a world of its own. There's a reason people compare it to Hawaii. Like Hawaii, it's volcanic, not just green, but steep. A mountain massive piles up in the middle of the island, topped by Pico Ruivo at 1,862 meters. Funchal, the capital, sits centrally on the sunny south coast, which makes it the obvious base for exploring the rest. But the Levadas are the real reason Madeira is a hiking paradise. Narrow water channels originally built to move rainwater from the wet north to the dry, sunny south. They still feed the farming terraces cut into these slopes. Running alongside every channel is a maintenance path, and together those paths now form a network of around 2,000 kilometers covering the entire island. So instead of grinding up dusty switchbacks, you're walking right along the water, through dark tunnels, next to waterfalls and ancient forest. Now let's get into the part that will make or break your trip. Since the start of 2026, hiking on Madeira requires a reservation. For every official trail, the so-called PR routes, you need a time slot booked online in advance through a government website called SIMplifica. Navigating the website is anything but straightforward. Hike without a valid booking and you risk a fine. The real problem isn't the price of €5 though. The best known routes sell out months ahead, and which days a trail is even open can change with the season, so check the current status before you build a plan around it. That caught me out too. I couldn't get a slot for Pico do Areeiro since they were all gone already. I did it anyway, and I'll show you how. To sum it up, you have three options. First, book your own slot early. Second, you can book a tour that handles the reservation and the transfer, then you don't need a car at all. Or third, you go for the quieter routes almost nobody has on their radar. Let's start with the most spectacular routes. The most popular for a reason is the PR1, from Pico do Areeiro to Pico Ruivo, connecting the island's two highest peaks, a narrow ridge that runs mostly above the cloud line. It's without question the most spectacular hike on Madeira, and everyone knows it. Which is exactly why there was no slot left when I planned my trip. PR1 only reopened in stages after the 2024 wildfire, and it's booked out months ahead. One more thing to plan around, the full crossing now runs one direction only, from Areeiro to Ruivo. So your ride home has to be waiting at the far end, not where you initially parked. My way around it works almost every time. I booked a tour. There are two versions. First, the short one out to Pedrarica, which is what I did. There, you hike the first stretch, get onto the ridge and the best viewpoints, then come back the same way. And then there is a tour option for the full peak-to-peak crossing. Both tours include the permit, the transfer and the local guide. And those permits do get checked up here. At Pico do Areeiro, I watched crowds of day visitors turn up without a booking. The rangers turned every one of them back at the trailhead. All they could reach was the platform next to the radar tower. Therefore, I recommend to book one of these tours to be able to enjoy the best views. Next up is Pico Ruivo. Here it is the same story. The PR 1.2 from Achada do Teixeira was sold out for my dates too, but the tour I had booked covered it. This one takes you to the highest point of the island at 1,862 meters, on the much shorter and easier route. It is a half-day tour, transfer and reservation included. The next two routes you've probably already heard of during your research. First, São Lourenço, the peninsula out in the very east of the island, bare, wild and nothing like the green rest of the island. The other popular route is the 25 Fontes hike, which takes you to the waterfalls deep in the laurel forest. Both are so popular they sell out early, so treat them the same way. Either book your slot the moment you know your dates, or take a tour that does it for you. Each of the tours mentioned picks you up in Funchal, most of them right at your hotel. So that's where you want to be based, central, on the sunny south coast, best connections for tours and transfers, and inside the city you don't need a car at all. Here I recommend two neighborhoods. First, the Old Town, historic buildings and narrow alleys right outside your door. Cheap and very central is the Jaca Hostel, which features dorms and private rooms. Solid mid-range is the Hotel Catedral, right next to Funchal's main church, exactly as the name suggests. And if you want to treat yourself, the Savoy Palace, one of the best hotels on the island, is the place for you, featuring a rooftop pool and a sky bar. The second area is São Martinho. This is the hotel strip, promenade, restaurants, pools and a number of places to go for a swim in the ocean. Budget end is the Terrace Mar Suite Hotel with its own pool. In the mid-range segment I can recommend the Melia Madeira Mare with its modern rooms. And at the upper end I'd definitely go for the Porto Mare. From all of these hotels it's only a relaxed half-an-hour walk to the center. The next routes are the less obvious ones. Not undiscovered, just far less walked. And I wouldn't have found any of them on my own. Filipe took me out on a handful of hikes where we barely saw anyone. Let's start with the Levada dos Cedros. It's the PR14 over in the west. It runs through laurel forest that's usually sitting in clouds on one of the oldest levadas on the island. It's the closest thing to a ferret hill forest I've ever walked through.
Up in the mountains it's a bit higher, a bit wetter, but now and then the sun is peeking through. Completely different landscape. Beautiful.
It is a classified PR, so it does need a booking, but it's nowhere near as busy as the big routes, so you'll almost always get a slot, especially early morning or late afternoon. Go early enough and the forest is yours. You'll want a rental car or transfer though, it's a bit of a drive from Funchal. Next up is the Levada Nova and Levada do Moinho near Ponta do Sol. Narrow paths that run alongside waterfalls and in a couple of places straight behind them. It's not an official PR, so there's nothing to reserve, but I won't pretend it's a secret. It was already busy when I went, and on top of that, you shouldn't be afraid of heights. Same advice again, go early. It's quieter and the light in the valley is better anyway. For this one, you can book a transfer if you don't want to rent a car. Now, the next three routes need nothing. No slot, no rental, and not much planning at all. First up, the Vereda do Larano up in the northeast.
Another day, another hike. Today, not along Levada. Today, I hike from Porto da Cruz to Machico along the coast.
Here you are walking along the cliffs with the ocean next to you the whole way. Again, no official PR, so nothing to book. Some sections get pretty narrow. There are barriers at the worst spots, but you'll still notice the drop. Start and finish are far apart, so I just booked a transfer from Funchal, which drops you at the start and picks you up in the village on the other end. Use the QR code if you want to do the same. The next one starts right outside your hotel. From the harbor in Funchal, you follow the promenade past Praia Formosa and keep going all the way to Câmara de Lobos. No car, no reservation, no excuses. That little fishing village is where Poncha comes from, the island's signature drink. So have lunch somewhere in the center and don't skip the Poncha bar number 2. Just remember, you have to get back as well. The fifth route of this segment starts above the rooftops of Funchal. Instead of a rental car or transfer, you simply take the cable car up to Monte, which is an experience on its own.
If you want to go for a little hike, there's also an option right in Funchal where you take the cable car up to Monte and then you hike here on the side of the mountain, enjoy beautiful views. On top of that, it's super quiet here.
From the cable car, you walk across to the Levada dos Tornos with the whole city below you. You decide how far you go. The Stadium of Nacional is about 2 hours out and the Tropical Garden is right at the starting point, so it's easy to make a half-day activity out of it. And while you're up at Monte, there is one more thing you may as well do. 2 men in white, straw hats on, push you down the hill in a wicker sledge on greased wooden runners. This is the way people actually got down to Funchal before there were proper roads. It's completely touristy, but it's also brilliant and a lot of fun. Back down in the city, take some time for the old town. The painted doors along Rua de Santa Maria are worth the walk on their own. Every one of them is a different artist. Make sure to go into the Mercado dos Lavradores, which is the farmer's market, to check out colorful flowers, tropical fruits you've never seen before, and the fish counter downstairs. West of the city is Cabo Girão, at almost 580 meters, one of the highest sea cliffs in Europe. There's a glass skywalk out over the edge, and you're looking straight down at the water and the terraced fields below. A 10 minutes drive away, there is a panoramic lift that takes you about 300 meters down the cliff face to Fajã dos Padres. It's a hidden little paradise down there. Bananas, wines, and a restaurant right on the water. You can swim, eat, and lose a whole afternoon without noticing. East of Funchal at Garajao, there's a Christ statue on the headland. It's the older, smaller brother of the one in Rio. This one went up in 1927, 4 years before Rio's. The view from the point is great, and the cable car takes you down to the beach where you can go snorkeling. And in the sunny west of the island, it's worth checking out Ponta do Sol, the sunniest spot on the island, and Pol do Mar, a small surf village in the southwest. That's where Madeira gets quieter and a bit rougher around the edges, a true gem. How do you find a place like that? Funnily enough, the answer starts with the food. So let's go there first. I'll be brutally honest with you, I came for the hiking and I stayed for the food. Madeiran Cuisine is hearty, honest and seriously good. The classic is espetada, big chunks of beef skewered on a laurel branch and grilled over hot coals. Usually it arrives hanging from a metal stand right at your table. With it, you get bolo de caco, flatbread baked on a hot stone and brushed with garlic butter. Sounds simple, but it's truly delicious. For something sweet, try queijadas, small cheesecakes perfect to take on a hike. And then there is of course poncha, sugarcane spirit, honey and lemon mashed up fresh in front of you. Careful though, it goes down far too easily and it's much stronger than it tastes. Which brings me to my most useful tip of all. The quiet routes and insider tips you won't find by researching. Locals know them. And if you don't happen to know one like I did, the easiest way to meet locals is over a poncha in one of the small bars. Or honestly, just at your hotel. The people who work at reception and in the restaurant are most likely locals. Ask them which hike they actually do on their day off. Not what they recommend to tourists, but what they do. That question is how I found half of this video. Everything else came from Filipe. And for the days you're not on a trail, I've got you covered with my next video guide right here. Have fun hiking and enjoy your vacation in Portugal.